So y'all can hear me, right? Or like, just testing. Okay, great.
Could someone also go back to the other room and see if anybody is still in there?
Okay.
You know what? I see Tanya in the other room. So is she part of the class?
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell her.
Thank you, Aaron.
Tanya, can you hear me? We're in another chat room. Yeah, you're supposed to log off of this one, and it's, I think, the third one down.
We're just doing a couple more administrative things. And then I'll go over my list and we'll be on our way.
Excuse me, Professor. I can't
Yes.
hear anything you're saying. I can just only look at you, like move your mouth, but I can't hear anything.
Can anybody else hear me?
Can you type that? I can't hear anything.
Oh, I don't type on this. It's not possible for me. Everybody else can hear, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Since
Hey,
I can't hear what you're saying, let me just log out and log. Oh.
Just checking where you are. You haven't got here yet, right? I don't see you. No, you might not in the right chat room. Now I see you. You just came in. Are you all right? Are you sticking under the recorder? All right. Ashley Ortega, you gone?
I left, but I'm back. I just had to log back in to see if it works, but I can hear you now.
Very good. Okay, so I'm going to go over all the class stuff. You'll see a little bit of what I teach tonight, but I want to do a complete inventory of everyone and see who is and who is not here. And then we'll talk about the syllabus and other things. The first day is a little bit challenging because some folks have to learn how to log in and stuff like that. So I'm going to read your name. I'm going to read it alphabetically. If I pass your name, then hey, say Dr. Wick, you didn't get me. So I've got Luke Aiken here. Anna, is that what you go by?
Yes.
Okay. Teeks, you got to put your phone on mute.
Yes, sir.
I hear your people in the background. You got to kind of mute your phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, my next person I call is Flora, then Celeste, Jennifer, John, you're here, Keyshawn Dennis, Brenda, Heidi. I'm missing Danae Haver. No, Danae. I've got Hunter, Miriam, Jasmine, Abigail, Noel William Mycia, no, Denise McGee. And if I'm mistaken, just say, here I am. Joel O'Mike. Have Ashley, Emily, Vanessa Ramirez, Julio, Morgan. No, Tanya Richley. Are you here? Tanya.
She might be having trouble logging in because she was in the other chat room, and I told her where to come.
Miriam, you did?
Yeah.
Good deal. Okay, so I'll put a question mark there. Zach's here. I do not have Kimberly Tran.
Oh, I'm here. I'm here.
Kimberly, can you check your video with me? You want to do that?
Oh, okay.
Shanika Walker. No, Shanika. Ishay Verde. No, Ishay. Brendan Williams. No, Brendan. I have no Jasmine Willis. No, Disha Wulder. Oh, I think I know what the problem is. And no Azrin Johannes. I know what the problem is. Hold on.
How can you tell if this is recording? I mean, he said it, but can you see the thing? The little button that says, huh? Yeah, he's on, but my camera's not on, so he can't see you.
All right, class. You all get another email from me. It'll come out now, but it is meant for students that don't know about this. What happened was a little bit ago, and I just figured this out, about another class must have canceled, and they put more people in this class than we're going to be in the other one. So we have at least 6 people that don't know about this. And so pretty much everybody that's supposed to be here is here, but we have some people that are not. So I just sent out a message. You all received it. Does anybody out there, can you be my go-to person and say, yeah, you got the message? Anybody?
I did get your email, sir.
I got
You
the
did,
email.
Luke. So it's just a repeat of what you all had, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're good there. Now, let me mm, let me go over some of the techniques and things we do. I'm going to shift now here to my email. I believe I can do that. Well, let's see here. Maybe. Okay, a little closer. Trying to get there. Okay. So some of you all have had an email from me that included the syllabus. Could one of you all forward that to me? That way we'll have the same document. Would anybody be willing to do that?
Sure, I'll look
I
for
can
it.
go ahead and do that. Just the syllabus?
Please, that'd be good. Yeah. I have it, but the system is working so slow, it'll take a few minutes to get to it. Okay.
Okay, I just sent it.
Okay. Let's see if I have it. All right, Heidi, that says something's come in. See if we can get it open so we can do this. So if you don't have the syllabus pulled up, I'm trying to pull it up for you now.
I just sent
To
it.
go over it together. It should open. Let's see. Here we go. This normally doesn't take this long. Normally, the system is much more responsive. But okay, so you all should be able to see this. Is that right?
So you
Can
kind of
anyone give
lag
me
when
an
you say
amen
that.
on that?
You kind of lagged, sir. Can you say that again?
I guess you cannot see the syllabus.
Oh, there we
can you?
go. It just showed up.
All right, good deal. Okay, so let's just quickly, and it disappeared again, right?
No, it's still here.
I think it's
No.
just lagging behind.
The system is not working right.
System.
It should be there. Can you still see it?
I still can.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so just going over the course, this is my email address. You don't need to have a capital W there. I do have an office at the college, but I'm only there by appointment. This is a winter semester class, so I'll just share with you that we will have online class meetings that will not be mandatory if I'm successful at having a student record them. I think I am. I think I have a commitment from at least one student, maybe two. And so if that's the case, we'll talk about that in a little bit more depth. Some of the requirements for the course in terms of the grading, as you can, I guess you can still see it in front of you, some of your graded work. Can I get an amen on that, maybe?
Yes, sir.
You guys see
Yes.
the tables?
We can see it.
Okay, so participation in class is 20% of your grade. That means if you come to these meetings, that will be 20% of your grade. And here's how I do that. If you miss one, that's a 90, 2 is an 85, 3 is an 80, 4 is a 75, and 5 is a 70. The reason that is because this is just a very short class. Now, if you watch the video in lieu of the class, that will count. And I trust you. I mean, this is, if you tell me you've watched it, I believe you. At this time, maybe, and Miriam, I hope you're still there, but Anna, do you want to talk at all?
What exactly do I say?
Well, you were going to tell us so that you're going to record and maybe how they could get it.
Oh, then yes. Yeah, I was just gonna upload it to YouTube and then probably create like a private link. So hopefully send it to everyone.
So that's the plan, and the point of contact will be Anna. And I have to talk with Miriam because she might be involved in some way, Hunter. And I really appreciate Miriam, and I'll talk to you after class about that. So your participation grade for this course should be 100. If you miss, then you can go back and watch the video, and I trust you. Now the homework. Students will say, "Well, Dr. Witt, you don't give me any homework." You have homework every time you have a class. You should have read the chapter in advance and have questions. The success rate of those students that do that is much higher. When I took the class, everything was a question to me. And when I listened in the class, then I understood a lot better. But when I didn't go over the class in advance, then it was all Greek to me or another language. So I would share with you that is the kind of homework we have now. The gradable homework, I will give you one assignment, and that will be to calculate a purchase of an automobile. I have a detailed homework assignment on that. You'll get that as a special email from me. It will tell you how you can score points on it. Now, the neat thing about the homework problem is you can score 115 points. That will be up to you. So if you get the problem correct and don't do anything special, you'll get a 90. If you do some extra stuff, as outlined in the email, such as maybe putting it in color, some people type it, some people will be creative, some people take a picture of a car, whatever extra you'll do, and it'll be detailed again in that email, you can score 115 points. Now, you might say, okay, now that is pretty significant. Why? Because it is possible then at the end of the course, which I've had 3 students last semester score over 100 for the class. I have to warn you and say to you that you cannot score over 100 for the course from the college viewpoint. You would get a grade of 100 from me because a grade of over 100 will not transfer to any other college. So far, in terms of participation, homework, you're in total control. That's 30%. You're going to say, well, there's a catch. The midterm exam, I'm going to let it be kind of in quotes, a take-home exam where you can get help. So 70% of the, 6% of the class, you control totally. Now, the reason why I do that is I think learning is much higher in the midterm when students go and take the exam and have other people help them. The other thing is, usually a student, if they have an A average, doesn't usually drop out of the class. I've had only one student that complained to the teacher where they wanted to drop out with an A, and they later on retracted it and was so happy. So anyway, now the final exam will be on the computer. You'll press a button and you'll take it, and you'll get 2 times to take it. We'll talk about more on that later. Are there any questions about the grading, especially about the homework?
Will there be more extra credit opportunities?
I mean, the midterm exam and homework are and then I have that participation when people do some extra stuff, they'll get extra points for that. I mean, 115 for your homework, and then if I do some extra stuff for the midterm, that's pretty much. I don't want to have everybody have over 100 score. I mean, I do, but I don't want to make it that easy. Does that kind of answer your question? You should
Yes,
be
sir.
okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is my first online class like this. For the exams, do we go to the school or do we just do it at home?
Well, I'll put the exams online.
Okay.
You'll be able to do them online, and you'll just pick A, B, C, or D.
Okay.
But let me just, but I will talk about more of those in a minute.
Okay.
Any other questions about the grades?
No.
No other questions? Let's move on then. Most of this you can read. I want to go to the course schedule. You can see we'll do 1.5 tonight, maybe a little bit of T1. But we got to cover 3 sections on most nights. That's a challenge. On the midterm review, if you look at that on Monday the 27th, that will be a critical day for you to attend. Very critical. All of the review classes are the most important classes because I go over examples of every question on the exam. Those students that attend the reviews have never scored less than 80 something, 85, I think, or 86. I used to be able to say 90, but a couple people attended the review online, but I don't know they were on the other end because their score didn't look like it. But anyway, and then that is really critical. So I hope that you understand about the reviews. And every one of these time frames we'll try to follow. Is everybody okay with that? Does everybody understand the class and course schedule?
Yes.
And that's why I said if you don't do well in the midterm, I'd be shocked. Because every question we will cover in a form that almost matches the test. So, any questions?
No.
No questions? Okay. If you, most of you all have my cell phone number. I appreciate your professionalism in using that. Most teachers wouldn't give it out. I do. So I hope that you just, if you text me, call me. I would share with you that the most important thing you should do in this class is get a study buddy. If you don't get a study buddy, then if you call me, the first thing I'm going to say is you have a study buddy. And that's critical. The second most important thing is a TI-84 calculator. We will use that calculator for this course. Now you're going to say, I have another calculator, and I will share with you, we will only teach using the TI-84. There's too many out there to use. But the TI-84 is really, you cannot complete the course successfully without this kind of a calculator. When we do matrix systems, the TI-84 calculator can help you do the problem in less than 2 minutes. Without the 84, it would take you an hour and 15 or hour and 30 minutes, without exaggeration, to do one of those matrix problems. The other thing is the homework. We use the finance app. There are some formulas to calculate the payment, and you can find some processes on the computer and Google, but it won't be exact to the penny in the way we will use the 84. So if you do not have one, you can, I think, get one from the library. If you have a friend. Last class I had about 5 or 6 of them, but I have a face-to-face class, and I brought them in, and they were all gone by the end of the class. They were from other students. They were not mine. Other students had taken it, asked me to solve them for them, and I did it. So right now, I don't think I even have one from another student. So we're on hold. Now let's look at that calculator. Are you guys still seeing everything all right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I see you.
Yes.
Thank you. I don't know why we're not seeing what I need to see here. Let's go to the calculator now. Hopefully you can see the calculator. Can you all see the calculator?
No.
No, sir.
I can't see it.
No. No?
Okay. Now.
Oh, there it is now.
There we go.
Okay, this is the calculator, and this is the app I'm talking about. It's the purple app here. It's a finance app. You hit enter. Some of you all have more choices here. We're going to go to TVM Money Solver. We're going to enter. And it'll give us the N, the percent. This is a wonderful program. You'll be able to do a significant number of things with it. That's that. Matrix systems. That's these things right here. We'll load them. We'll learn all about them. And so there'll be a lot of other things. Graphing will be critical. We'll go up here to use the graphing part. I would concentrate on those things, and I will not just throw it at you. We will go step by step on how to use the calculator when the time comes. This is the next thing, tool that we use. Sometimes this is kind of a telltale sign of me. If you look at me, I do not write very well, and during the military duty, you may not see this, but there's a line that goes across my arm right here. My arm was kind of taken off, and they re-sewed it on. It's been reattached in my fingers and stuff. So I don't write very well, but I try. Usually on the second time, I get better. And there it is, a little better. But you're going to say, wow, that's better. That's bad. But So I will use this tool. Okay, let me go back to that and see what we have here. Let me get rid of that. Okay, now let's go to the book. Now the book, it should be online. So if I go to, and I'm hoping you can see this. And by the way, is anybody new come in? Let me just check here. Did Shanika Walker?
Yes.
Is that you?
No.
Who's new that came in?
Jasmine Willis.
Jasmine, what?
Last name is Willis.
Okay, I got you, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Who? Who else? I only have that one person. Who else? I couldn't hear. Is anybody there? Okay, my thing zipped out. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let's see what it says here. Tanya Ritchie. That's who said it was. Okay, Tanya, got you. Good deal. Anybody else new? Okay. So we're going to try and go back to this. So, okay, can you all see the my finger pointing on the left here on the.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I have here e-text, and so I'm going to click on that, and the book should be available, and it should be the same for you all as well. So it's going to launch. I tested it earlier. It worked fine. I did everything I needed to do to make sure it works, but we'll see what happens in the real world here when we test it. Okay, equations and inequalities. We can also look a little bit at the preface material here. So hopefully on your screen, you can see chapter P.
I don't see that.
And it should have a bunch of little $100 bills flying around. Are you guys good with
It's
that?
still on the
Yes.
e-text screen.
Didn't move? Okay. Let's try and get you back.
And I believe a new student just signed in.
How about now? Can you see those dollar bills?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And who's that? Who's that's helping me?
Luke Aiken.
Luke. Thank you. I'm going to make this a little bigger. This is pretty hard to see. Make it work. Okay, so it should be a little bit bigger here. Algebraic expressions, just so you know, they have a couple of them in front of you. An algebraic expression usually has a variable, like x plus 6, x minus 6. Most of us know all about that. Exponential notation. And this is a review. I'm going fast and I don't normally teach like this, but I'm just going over it because it's rather fast. And for some folks, it should be repetition. But if there are any questions, please just interrupt. The exponent is always identified by an N. You see that? I can't see questions. I only can hear them. So if someone has a question or a comment.
Hi, sorry.
All right.
This is Rodas Warede, and I just got here. Sorry, I'm late.
Who is this?
Rodas Warede.
How do you spell your last name? Again?
Werede.
I gotcha. Thank you. Did
Thank
you
you.
just get my message?
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming, Rose.
Thank you.
So let me ask: is Brendan Williams here? Shanika Walker? Desta Text? Or Asmarin Mimosa? Any of you all here?
Yes, I'm here. Tegest, I'm here.
Who's that?
Tegest.
I got you. Good deal.
Right.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll go over attendance one more time. We're finished. Now look at this is an example of an algebraic expression where they plug in 6. So x equals 6 and you just work it. Most all get the idea about algebraic expressions. We'll move on a little bit here. I would recommend you print out page 6 of the syllabus. This is modeling. If you get a problem like this in the exam, most students at the end of the course love these problems because you just put it, they give you the equation there, t equals 4x squared plus 330x plus 3310, about cost for school and education. The total cost or tuition, if you put a number in for x, that's how you get the answer. So that's pretty simple. They just said put in 10 and you plug it in. You have to use your calculator, or most folks would. Nowadays, it's getting better to know how to use the calculator than not. Again, I can't hear if you raise your hand on the machine. I can hear a verbal question. Intersection is the upside down U. Union is the right side up U. In other words, it'll look like, I'll show you this. So using the whiteboard, this is the intersection, and this means union. So I have 1 plus, let me do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, 5, 6, 7. The intersection is equal to 4. That would be this answer. And the union is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all of them. That's all they're trying to share with you there. And as I said, your homework is going over this stuff, especially if you don't understand it. The union, we just, and by the way, you cannot repeat the number. You know, it's like a family reunion. If Mike goes to your family reunion and Mike goes to the other one, you don't have two Mikes, you have the same Mike. So the union of this would be, as you can see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You don't repeat, even though you have 8 in there twice and 10 in there twice. The set of real numbers. This is, if you look on the left, that's a better understanding of what they try to show you with sentences. Natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're looking at the left here, you'll see a green box. It's a rectangle. Natural numbers start with 1 and go on. Whole numbers include 0 and negative numbers, or excuse me, negative numbers are in integers. Rational numbers are including fractions. Irrational numbers include numbers that repeat, that go on and on and on. There's one kind of number in here that we will use that's not listed. Does anybody know what other number is in here or is not in here that we use? Any guesses?
Is it pi?
What'd you say?
Pi?
No, that's an irrational number. It's these numbers. What kind of numbers are these? Anybody know?
Exponents?
Exponents?
Aren't those imaginary numbers?
Exactly. These are imaginary numbers, and this is the one you'll use the most. I squared equals -1. So, for example, if they ask you what's the square root of a -16, the book is going to tell you can't do it, but then later on they'll tell you you can. Well, this is equal to the square root of -1 times the square root of 16. The square root of 16 is easy. That's 4. But the square root of -1 is really I squared, as shown here. And the square root of anything, as long as this number matches this number, you get I, and the correct way to write it is 4i. The real part goes first, and that's that. So anyway, that's just a kind of a brief intro. These are imaginary numbers, not shown. I went into it in a little bit more detail, but you should know those. And the book kind of funnily says, we don't really use them, but they do. In fact, they do it in detail. So that's all about the number system, and you can go back and refer to it. So here's the perfect, this is on your test. Not exactly, but it's going to give you one like this. And it's going to ask you what number is what. Notice the square root of 81 is technically 9. And you should practice natural numbers, whole numbers, and so on. Remember, whole numbers include 0. Natural numbers start at 1, 2, 3, no fractions, and so on. Irrational numbers repeat themselves like pi and the Euler. Right, rewrite the expression without absolute value bars. Well, they just show you there on the right that A is what? You just take away the bars. I mean, duh. There's nothing to it. Go to the next one. The distance between 2 points, there is the formula. But most of you all can see here using the number line with negative numbers. The distance between 3 and -5 is actually 8. My best example, I think that is a confusing example. Let me bring you into focus what I think is a better example. For my example, I'd say if If you go into debt, let's say $100, and then you go into debt another $200, you are in debt negative $300. But debt is in fact an absolute value. Why? Because on a number line, 0 is here and negative 300 is over here, and a positive 300 is on this side. And normally it is considered a negative number is less than 0. So if you're in debt negative $300 like this, you'd say, well, gee, I'm in good shape. But unfortunately, debt is an absolute value, which means that even though you're down $300, you are in fact down $300 that are positive. That's the best way to use an absolute value in terms of understanding with regard to money. So it's a little bit confusing because on a number line, it is in fact true that a negative 2 is less than 0. A negative 5 is less than negative 2. But you would think that if you're in debt a negative 5 over negative $2, negative 5 would be more. But that's absolute value, and you would be right there. So it's a little confusing, but again, I think that helps. Now they're going to mention some of the properties. Most folks will know these. Most students know these, or at least some of these. But commutative property of addition is, 1 plus 2 is equal to 2 plus 1. A times B equals B, 2 times 3 equals 3 times 2, and so on. All these are, if you add up 1, 2, and 3 in a different order, you're still going to get 6. The 0 property, any number add 0, you're going to get the same number, like 6 plus 0 is going to give you 6. The identity number for multiplication, 1 times anything, is going to give you the number. It's like 1 times 7 is going to give you 7. The inverse, when you add them up, you get 0 for addition, and when you multiply them, you get 1, and that'll be extremely important for you when we get to matrix systems. Again, most folks know those. I just went over them. I'll probably not go over the examples here. That'll be something you could do because I think most people have seen these before many times, and this is just a refresher. And you should be able to go to your book and studies. And by the way, your book is supposed to be free, and it's in that little space that I just showed you on that menu board. So here, simplifying these, you're going to take 6 times 2x, like the arrows show. 6 times 2x squared, then 6 times 4x, then 10 times 4x squared, and then 10 times 3x. And you just add the common parts. For example, you cannot add 12x squared plus 24x, but you can add the 24x and 30x as shown second from the last line. You can only add apples and apples and oranges and oranges. Now, properties of negative numbers. Instead of giving you that, let's just look at number 9 for a second. Oh, let me do this. I'll do a couple things here. Negative times negative is positive. Positive times positive equals a positive. So like signs always give you positive numbers. Unlike signs, give you negative. The same is true for division. Well, to that over here. Now, one other thing is a negative and a negative gives you a positive. Two negatives always give you positive in multiplication. Now, also, if I'm going to add something, this is what they were just about ready to show you. This negative sign means you change everything inside. So now this is going to become an x and a -7. The same thing back with that absolute value. You might have seen that where all of a sudden they change it to negative, because that's true. A negative will then become positive. If I put in a -6 and an absolute value, it's -6 in here, but it comes out +6. So the rule is two negative signs that are together or not separated by a number always means positive. Two negative signs not separated by a number. Now this is a parenthesis, it's not a number. So it always means positive. I need to go back to this. Otherwise my board gets too full. Now back to the book. I tried to keep the classes to a minimum. I think that's it. I wanted to focus a lot on the P chapter, or a little bit on this one. And we're finished. So now I want to go and start the other chapter, which is 1.5 quadratic equations. And it should be popping up now. Your screens should see that here. Luke, can you see it?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go to the first problem. I'm going to show you a method of factoring that you should write down and use. So the first problem they want us to factor is 4x squared minus 2x. If you look at what they've done here, they factored out a 2 from both sides. That's why the 2x is out front, and it's equal to 0. Now what that means is this. Algebra is kind of funny in the sense that the x is 0 and the 2x minus 1 is a half. Now, why is that so? Luke, I'm still hearing you. You got to put your on mute. Thank you. Okay, so look, if I want something to equal 0 and I have x plus 2 and x minus 3, if x is 3, then you have 5 times 0 equals 0. It doesn't matter what this is, because that gives you 5. Now, let me give you the factoring. Let's say I have, let's quickly do this in my brain. Plus 3. 2x squared, 6x, 7x, plus 3. Okay, well, we want to factor this. Two x squared plus 7x plus 3. Now, in using FOIL, you bring down the 2x squared. You bring down the 3. You say something times something equals the first number, which is 2, times 3, which is 6. The first number times the last number. Now, if there's no number in front of the x squared, it's a 1. And then those same two numbers added together equal your middle term. In this case, it's 7. Now, the two numbers that do that are 1 and 6. This tells you how your middle terms are. So this becomes plus 1x from here, plus 6x from here, then plus 3. The next step is you group them. You group the first two, and you group the last two. You factor what you can out of the first one, which is x, which gives you 2x plus 1. Because x times 2x gives you 2x squared, x times 1 gives you the x. Now, if you have 2x plus 1 on the left, you have to have it on the right. Then you say to yourself, what do I have to multiply 1 by to get 3? And that's 3. And you check it. 3 times 2 gives you 6x. So my factors are now x plus 3. And of course, whatever's in the parentheses, which is 2x plus 1. And we set that equal to 0. So this x is a negative 3. And this x is, you always take the number, put it underneath the 1, and change the sign. This is the FOIL method. You should practice this problem until you understand it. This is going to be really important. A student that knows this will be much farther ahead than those that don't. I'll leave that. See it takes. Moving on. We have 12 more minutes of class is all. I try to never run over the time. Because I know people, I hate it. Like, I go to church, and sometimes it can be a long church, you know. Anyway, I don't like it. Okay, the square root property. I'll give you one example. We'll do 3x squared minus 15 equals 0. The square root property says you can get an answer even if it's got a square. So we have, in this particular problem, we have 3x squared minus 15 is equal to 0. We want to get x by itself, so I'm going to put this on the other side. And now I have 3x squared equals a positive 15. You divide everything by 3, I get x squared then equals 5. Now, if you take the square root of x squared, you get x. Whatever you do at the left, you got to do the right. And it's always plus or minus. Now, why is that so? If I take 3 squared, it's going to equal 9. If I take a negative 3, squared equals 9. Remember, we had the square here. So you're always going to get two answers plus or minus 5. So along that same note, because that's an important point, if I take x squared equals 9. If I take the square root of this, I get x. If I take the square root of this, I get 3. But the answer has to be plus or minus. And you know that it is because 3 times 3 is 9, and a negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. So it's always plus or minus. Let's see what happens next. 10 minutes left. I already did one like this for you. This is the square root. It has an imaginary number. It's just a little more unique. It's nothing really. You can look at that. Remember, I did the square root of negative 16. They just have a numerator and a denominator. It works the same way. Creating the perfect square trinomial. This is a very important process. I will do one. I will do the easier one, x squared plus 8x. They want you to create a perfect square. And that seems like kind of a weird request, but let's say we have x squared plus 4. And we want to make this a perfect square plus 4x. You always take half of this term. Half of that term will be 2. So you have x plus 2 squared. That's going to give you the perfect square, which is x squared plus 4x plus 4. How do I do that? I just take x plus 2 times x plus 2. This times this is x squared. This times this is plus 2x. This times this is another 2x. And this times this is plus 4. Now, that gives you the answer, which you see above right here. But now, if I'm technically adding 4. So the other side then has to equal 4, because if you add 4 on the left, you have to add it on the right. That's the rule. So I added this. Remember, this was equal to 0. So I have to add 4 to the right. Now you've completed square. Now, let's go over it easier. Let's just make it easier now. We'll do it one more. Let's say we have x squared plus 6x. We want to make it a perfect square. I'll put a 4 on that side just for the heck of it. We're going to add something to this. We know what that's going to be. We know that the square is always going to be half of this. Half of 6 is 3. So we have x plus 3 squared. This number here is always going to be this one squared, which is 9. So if we add 9 on the left, we have to add it on the right. So x plus 3 squared equals 13. That's just it in a nutshell. It. Again, something that someone shows you that's a good study thing every weekend to do. Down to 7 minutes. Well, that worked out. What happened there? Let's go back. Let's see, there it is. There we go. By the way, I try to take class pretty serious for you guys. I don't come in here in my t-shirt. I have my tie on for you. Usually I wear a suit jacket. Okay, this is completing the square. This is the same thing we did, only to push the 4 on the other side. I'll do this one as well because it's important and it's a little bit different, but not much. So they want you to complete the square and solve for x. So it's the exact thing that we did, except for they made it a little more complicated by putting the other number in, which I already had done for you as well. Here's the problem. We have x squared minus 6x, this is different, plus 4. Let's see. Is that what I wrote down? It doesn't seem right. Let's go back. This wasn't very neatly written anyway. X squared minus 6x plus 4, yeah, equals 0. Okay. I should have put down equals 0. Okay, so it's still there. That's a 4 equals 0. And I already told you about my writing, but it'll get better. So we take half of the middle term, which is 3. And we push the 4 to the other side. So that'll equal a negative 4. And this is squared. Now we know when we squared it, this number is added technically. That becomes a 9. So if we add 9 to the left, we have to add it to the right. So this time, just like the other one, except for it's a negative 4, you have x minus 3 squared equals 9 minus 4. Simple. And let's go and see once if that's correct. I usually have a fact checker, someone that always says, oh, Rick, you got it wrong. But you can see the process. They're doing it. Minus 4 goes to the other side. Okay, these are all completing the squares. I'm getting someone's feedback. You got to put it on mute. Got to put it on mute. Sorry. There you go. All right. A couple more minutes. That's all we have. Quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. The only thing you got to know in using this formula is how to plug it in. So look at number 6. The 8 is the a, the 2 is the b, and the c is negative 1. You just put it in your calculator. Some calculators even have the quad loaded. You just got to put it in and be able to do the math. Now, sometimes you get 2 answers, but only you have to check them to make sure they're right. So that's the quadratic equation. Now they want you to solve this using the quad, the same thing. You're using it. You get 2 answers. If you put it in the calculator, you'll get the same thing. See what else we have here. Down to about a minute and a half. Here's one. Look, they have the square root of negative 44. It becomes an imaginary number that you just make a negative 1 out of. We did that with a negative 16. So the answer is shown here with an I. And by the way, there right away is a set of numbers that they didn't tell you we're using. There's your imaginary number. This would be a good one to practice. If you have trouble with it, contact your study buddy. But this one will be a good one to do for practice. I have 1 minute left. Let's see if there's anything else critical. The discriminant. The discriminant is the part inside. B squared minus 4ac. All you got to do is put it together. So b squared, that would be in number 9. We'll just do that and then be done. Number 9, the discriminant. B squared minus 4ac. You identify the b and the a. So b squared is 16 minus 4 times a, that's 12, times c is 60, equals 76. And all you're going to do is plug in the a, the b, and the c that you see right there in a into the formula b squared minus 4ac, and you get the discriminant. They just call it that. Okay, so my time is up. Sometimes I will go beyond it, but not tonight. I know that people have other things. It's Friday night. We will not meet Fridays anymore. We will meet Mondays and Tuesdays. We're off Wednesday for break on our brains, and we'll meet Thursdays. We'll do this for about 3 weeks. This is a blood pressure problem. When you see these, you should always be happy. Look, here's what I told you: P equals 0.06. All you're doing is putting the numbers. Okay, so let me go back to attendance one more time and just see once. I'll call you out, and if you have any questions, now would be the time. So I'm going to go down my list. If I don't call your name, tell me. So I have here, Luke's here, Anna's here, Flora's here, Celeste's here, Jennifer's here, Jan's here, Keyshawn is here, Yasmin is here, Heidi. I do not have Danae.
Tigist.
No Danae.
Tigist.
Huh?
Tigist.
I'm gonna get there. I have Miriam, Jasmine, Abigail. I do not have Otwal. I have Denise McGee. I do not have Chakwaduki or Joel. I've got Ashley Ortega. I have Elizabeth Osada. I have the friends, Vanessa and Morgan. I also have Julio. I have Tanya, Zachary Sanso, Kimberly Tran. I do not have Shanika Walker. I have Rodas Verde. Pretty neat name. I do not have Brendan Williams. I have Deshun Willis. I have Desto Ortiga. I got you. And I do not have Asmaran Johannes. That's it for today. Any quick questions for me from anybody?
D'Angela McGee. I heard
Yes.
you say Denise. Coincidentally, that's my middle name, but do you have it down as D'Angela McGee?
Is that what you'd like, D'Angela?
Yes, that's my first name.
I'll cross out Denise. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you. You guys, appreciate your patience. I think you'll do well in the class. I appreciate Luke's coming out and trying to help, and Anna and Miriam. I don't forget things like that. I marked it down. Those are extra credit in my eyes in the future. Thank you for your patience. We won't meet until when? Monday at 7 o'clock. Any other questions of me? There's a lot we covered tonight. Well, thank you all.
Do you have my name?
I do. I do.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. See you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are a good group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Have a good night.
See you, Zach. Morgan, Kimberly. I think everybody's bombing Oast already. Jasmine, thank you. You doing okay?
I am. How are you?
I'm good. I never did see you, did I?
No, you did.
I did. Okay. Well, thanks again.
No problem. Thank you.
Jasmine, do you do work?
I do.
What do you do?
I work in laboratory.
You do what?
I work in the lab.
You do?
Yeah.
Wow. Which lab?
Texas Help Plano.
I know exactly about that.
Mhm.
Very good. Be safe.
You too.
Yeah, I was a
thank you.
doctor. Bye-bye.
All right.
Hi, Professor. This is D'Angela. I was actually late today. I haven't had a chance to go and look at the syllabus just for the sake of asking.